And we're live. Yay.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Volume Up in Color. I'm Leslie Jespersen. We are a weekly web series and podcast all about entertainment and inspiration. So this week, I have with me my friend all the way in Nashville. Ashley, hi, welcome.
Hi. I feel like I should have worn like a cowboy hat or have like a guitar above me or something.
Representing from where you hail from. So Ashley is a self-employed DIY girl, just like myself. She is a graphic designer. She is an agent, and she is founder of Spotlight 615. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
So, you do all the things like I do. And Ashley and I connected because she represents a couple artists that
Number one fan.
Yes. That I have had the pleasure of bringing here to Atlantic City, and and we kind of connected, and here we are.
Yeah.
So if you're tuning in, hello, please comment. We can't see this fancy software that I use. I can't see who's watching, but we can see your comments. So say hello to myself, to Ashley, and if you have any questions, feel free to hop in. Otherwise, we're just going to chat. I just smacked my ring light and it just went flying. So Ashley, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this crazy world of entertainment.
Yeah. I always try to tell everybody whatever you set out to do is usually not what you actually end up doing. A lot of stuff evolves from one thing to another thing. When I was younger, I wanted to work at Wrigley Field and be a photographer for Major League Baseball, which I got to do. And everyone's always like, oh, you could do whatever you want, but have a backup plan. And so I went to the Art Institute in Chicago for graphic design. And so I knew I wanted to do something in photography or graphic design. And then I met a bunch of artists in Nashville who I would photograph them for their shows in the winter when baseball season wasn't going on, kind of much like current baseball season. And we just connected over the winters and were able to do, work together, just doing their photos, designing their albums, miscellaneous projects. And then after doing that for a couple years, both at the same time, I had a winter opportunity to move down here, which was just going to be for 6 months. And 8 years later, I still haven't gone home. And then I started signing up to do different things. I always tell friends who want to get in the music industry, just say yes. Like, you don't know if you're going to love tour until you're on it. It's not just the same as going on vacation with a band. Like, you're not on vacation. It's your home. And, whether that's a van or a hotel or a tour bus. And it's just really just say yes to everything, because then you'll be able to figure out what are the things you like and don't like. And it kind of all evolves from there.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite messages because I have done so many things in my life, and I get a lot of people asking me, like, how do I do what you do? Or like, how did you figure out? Or there was like this thing going across Facebook, like list 10 jobs that you've had and one of them's a lie.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. And I was like, so I did that. I'm like, wow, I've done so many things and I enjoyed them, but you don't know where your true passions are and what you're good at and what you enjoy, and finding that balance until you try it and until you do it.
Right.
So
there's definitely room to fail, because there are so many like exposure and for opportunity jobs that, they're not paying you.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting what they paid for.
Exactly. And sometimes you have to do that, but then it's also a lot of like self-awareness and knowing when it is time to move on. And something that I wanted to discuss with you is knowing when it's time to build your team and grow and say, because I am someone who I'm such a control freak. I like to do everything myself. And that's been like a downside to the entrepreneurial dream is okay, I need some help doing this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
So if you're a musician or a recording artist, that doesn't mean that you should know how to design your album cover and how to book yourself so that you're getting the best opportunities. And I think that's where you are like the perfect all-encompassing skill set for sure.
So I feel like you've completely hit the nail on the head where I am a control freak too. I've always been taught, like, if you want it done, do it yourself. Like, you can't always rely on other people. And I've built a small team around me, which, you know, unfortunately I can't employ right now, but you know, like, I am an independent contractor, and most of the people who hire me don't need me 365 days a year. They only need me for 2 weeks straight, or a month or 2 months straight. And then 6 weeks later, they call me for a half day. And then 3 months later, they're like, make 20 posters. And then you're like, all right, call me when that tour is done and I'll make them for the next round. And I mean, the same thing is like when an artist is a musician, or a musician is an artist and they're a solo artist, they can go play with their guitar or their piano and go take all these smaller shows. But then as they build their fan base, how do they build that team around them of bandmates? And then how do you pick a manager, and what's the right time to pick an agent? And like you said, all of those things, it's like knowing which things you're not good at too. And also just the things you don't like to do. Like, if it's going to take me 5 hours to do it, but I could hire somebody to do it in an hour, that money is so much more worth it. Like, even if I'm paying them $100 an hour and I'm like, you know what, I could do this myself. It's like, just for the sanity of it, and you know they're going to do it right, just let it go.
That's something. This is why we're friends, because like, get out of my head. Like, you're saying so much of what I talk about when I used to do like my marketing, and I still do some like marketing consulting.
Yeah.
But I used to tell people, like, you're not paying me for my time. You're paying me for your time.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes people are like, well, why am I only paying you an hour? And I'm like, you're paying me for my speed. Like, it would take somebody else 3 hours to do this, but I'm able to do it in 45 minutes or sometimes 15 seconds. That would take them 3 hours. They're like, you know, it's just so great to, you know, be able to get those things done quicker.
So tell me a little bit about Spotlight 615, because I wish that I was like next door to come support all these shows that you have worked so hard to build up. And it's obviously not something that could be going on right now. But for when we are back in action, we're allowed to like gather around other people closer than 6 feet apart.
Yes.
Tell everybody what Spotlight 615 is and how it started and what it means to you.
So when I first moved to Nashville, one of the artists that I was working for, we would book venues and try to put on showcases. But a lot of the venues, they charge you for sound. So like, you hire your production person and they would say, okay, you know, it's $250 for the sound guy for the night. And we're like, wait, like, you're not paying to play, but I get it. Like, what if you only brought 3 people in who didn't buy alcohol from the bar? Like, how are you supposed to get a successful show with enough people in to make the venue happy, make the bartenders happy, have enough to pay your bandmates, all of those sort of things? So we kind of would take that number and put a few other friends on the bill. And we knew that with the door price of like, you know, $5 or $10, we'd be able to hit that. And so I was paying that overhead every single time. And it was just getting frustrating. Like, we're trying to do a show once a month and we're paying for this. And so Nashville, being in the volunteer state, not just for the college, but we joke all the time how much we basically just volunteer all the time.
Yeah.
Just trying to like find charities that, you know, if we're able to utilize the door to be able to go to a charity, you know, we've partnered a lot with St. Jude. You know, they're located in Memphis. Every child that goes for either cancer research, cancer treatment, every single thing that they need done is covered by the hospital, whether that is their medical stuff or their family being able to have their mortgage paid while their entire family's in like a house, being able to take their kid to treatment every single day. So we've raised at least $80,000 for St. Jude over the course of the last 4 years of doing the show. And
congratulations. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And then our good friend Phil Bogard, we have been doing shows with his current project called Rock to Recovery, which was founded by one of the players in the band Korn. And they help bring music. A lot of it is recovery centers. A lot of it's veteran based. Sometimes it is people who are trying to get sober, that type of situation. But it's really just anyone who can use music as therapy. And we've helped them raise about $10,000 recently. And then we've raised probably about $10,000 to $15,000 for other various charities pop up. Like when there was the Chattanooga wildfires, we did a show for them. We've done stuff for the tornadoes recently. There's always somebody who needs something. So if we're able to give the door to that, usually the venue will then comp they'll take care of the production costs for the night. And then I'm able to give the performers a tax write-off form. So instead of, after you pay production and all the costs, instead of trying to get every band playing $20 or $50 based on how many fans they bring or don't, because as thankful as we are to have so much music here, it's really hard to when all your friends are musicians and they're out of town and come to my show tonight. You're like, I don't want to go to your show. I have 3 more shows this week of my own, or
tired.
And so it's a good way that, they're playing to a full room. They don't have to worry about drawing a certain number of people. And if they could get a tax write-off form at the end of the night, it's a win-win for all of the situations. So, and it's good to be able to give back. So
yeah, that sounds awesome. And I think that, the music scene in Nashville is something we've had so many phone calls and conversations about the differences between where you're at and where I'm at here in Atlantic City.
They're like, bring all the music. And I'm like, take all the music.
Yeah, it's bring all the music, but then it's like trying to get the venues to understand. Like when you talk to me about all that stuff, I'm like, I know what you're talking about, but now I'm going to have to explain this
right
to them. Like, you need a sound person. Like, you can't just hand me an iPad or like, touch the iPad while you're bartending. Like, that's not
right.
That's not how it works. By the way, shout out to Tiffany Heller. She commented. She said, "Yay, Nashville! Hey, Tiff.
Yay.
I miss you guys." So, and I think you've kind of figured it out with Spotlight 615, just how to take all of those different roadblocks and turn them into something positive, which is amazing. Yeah. So
we've done some other stuff with the show as well. I've done 8 road trips up to Chicago, which is where I'm from. So typically, which it's been a little minute, but for the last few years, I've gone up a few times and I bring a bunch of artists. Usually I try to have them be, solo or duo, cover overhead costs. If we're able to do a sold out show, I can pay for everyone's gas. They make a new fan base up there. They typically are artists who've never played Chicago. And, hopefully in a night they make, we've sold out 8 shows that each have about 100 people per night.
Wow.
And if they can go home with, not every artist is going to be every fan's cup of tea, but if they're able to, make 5 new fans forever or 20 new fans or sell $300 worth of merch, like that's really great to be able to build a new market. Yeah. And then 2 years ago, we started this other event. It's called Music as a Business Educational Seminar.
Yeah.
I feel like, so my friend Mark, he's with Arc Law up in San Francisco, and he's an entertainment attorney. We partnered with Shure Microphones, and the past one was sponsored by WSM, which is like the operated radio station. They helped sponsor this past one. And so what we've been able to do is I basically charge $5 or $10, and half the people who show up are free anyways. But really, it's just getting them into a network of people, really it's just teaching them, when is the right time to get a manager? And, here's a CPA, business manager who's going to be able to help you learn what things you can write off or not. And, we've just had some really great guests just be able to talk about different aspects of the music industry, everything from sponsorships to gear to just road, mental health on the road and stuff. So, and even mental health right now in situations like this.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that I just kind of try to keep everything under that umbrella. Cause it's I don't want to start any more Instagram accounts or websites or anything. But really it's built up a name for itself to be able to, just connect people. At the end of the day, it's just if I'm happy to be able to introduce a friend, to make a new friend, and somehow along the way they've made a new fan, it's that's just put good stuff out in the world.
So tell me the name of that business. Do you have plans to do that business conference again?
So we were supposed to have one next weekend. Okay. Which we were about to announce, and then we were going to do a teaser, and then we were going to do a save the date, and then all of a sudden all the pandemic stuff started happening. First it was the tornado here in Nashville, which happened about 1 mile from my house. I had a few friends stay with me. It was kind of crazy. But so we were going to announce it, but I think we're probably going to try to do another one around September, which is Americana Fest. So hopefully people will kind of be in town for that, or, right before or right after, to be able to come in early or stay late for that. I think that'll be our goal. But it's really cool. I have so many friends that come to me afterwards or over the course of the year, and they're like, I learned this during the seminar and I've implemented this into my business and I've really found success with that. And I wouldn't have known it unless I came to here. Or sometimes it's just little things that push them oh, I don't know if I'm going to do this. And then they hear this and they're like, got it. Gonna go do it. And it's it just helps build that confidence.
Yeah. I mean, when we talked about it before, everything that you offer is you offer all the solutions to people in the entertainment, and
if I don't know how to do it, I'm not going to try to sell you on it. I'm going to be like, hold on, I have a friend. I like this friend. They've done it for other friends, and, they're trusted people and stuff. So,
That's amazing. So that being said, what have you been doing? How are you navigating this pandemic? And so that I have had to completely.
I need to learn how to stop touching my face now that we're doing this.
I'm the worst. I probably just did it 5 times. I don't even realize. Yeah. Check that off the list.
Yeah. All right. So I don't obviously I don't know who's all watching, but a lot of people are now transitioning into work from home employees. I work from home all day, every day. A lot of obviously, except for then when I have to go to a show. So it's I try to come, I'm very introverted, but also slightly extroverted on some stuff. I like people. I want to hug people. I want to go see my people. I miss my people, but I love being able to work in an environment that is controlled and quiet and confidential, and, able to take conference calls and, be able to talk to artists. Hi, Anna. And just be able to help, have those conversations and, write up contracts and negotiate all that sort of stuff. Because I do work from home, I try to have structure every day where I make my bed, I have my coffee, and then it's I change out of my pajama pants to my work yoga pants, try to have that structure of a normal person's day.
Yeah.
And I think even just people who are forced to work from home right now can kind of take some value from that, where don't just, get up every day and watch Netflix. Try to have at least some structure. I'm very structured in knowing that I need to accomplish things. I like to check things off my checklist all day long. And even if they're fake things, right now during the pandemic, it's it's little things of, I try to work out every day, and that varies every day. Some days it's so cold and I can only get a 1 mile walk in. Some days I could get a 4 mile jog in. Some days I'm just over it and I take a bike ride. Some days it's, last week it was 82 and today it was apparently snowing in Nashville. So I try to do I'll put my space heater in the living room that I'm sitting in right now, and I'll try to do like hot yoga. So it's just
smart.
So it's just like I have the space heater on me. My yoga teacher was laughing because like everyone's doing all the Zoom classes now, and
yeah,
I can't do yoga every day. I can't go for a 4-mile run every day. Like it's too much for my brain to try to. You got to work out. You got to write a book. You got to do like 47 things in the pandemic. Don't set yourself up for failure. It's like if I can do some sort of structured thing every day where it's like eat healthy, do some like activity that's like a workout based thing, and try to clean one room or cabinet or junk drawer a day. Like, I'm trying to use those as ways to kind of like keep my work brain active in like having that structure.
Yeah, I've always been impressed by your structure because you get up so early in the morning, and we're on an hour time difference. Like sometimes 7
a.m. Ashley wants a conference call.
Texting me, and I like wake up 2 hours later, and I'm like, oh, whoopsie.
Hello.
And I've always been impressed by that, and I think it's another way that you and I are very similar is that we both have been working from home. Like this isn't new for us. Yeah. So keeping that structure, and I've actually taken some value in something that you just said about like keeping your work brain active, but not trying to accomplish. Like
you're just going to set yourself up for failure right now if you're like, oh, I have to do like, 5 job applications every day and like all these like. Don't set yourself.
That's my personality. That's why I told you before we went live, like I forced myself to go to the beach for an hour and a half today because when you're self-employed or when you're an entrepreneur, there's always new ideas and there's always new things to do. And I just happen to like want to accomplish all of them. And I don't like slow down or stop until I can check off that list. So it's finding that balance that you seem to have, you're grabbing the reins on, which is good. I mean, we're like a month into this.
Yeah. Because originally when like I thought we were going into this, I was like, all right, I have 1 month. These are the things that I'm going to do in 1 month. And so, I mean, some of them are business related. Like, I updated my resume. The last time I updated it was in 2017. Freelance people, nobody ever asks for your resume. Nobody ever asks to see your diploma. Now. Like, why do we have these things? But it was like, we need to almost have to come back from this partially back into where we were. So like, you can't just wear your pajama pants all day, every day. Like you're going to have to go back to work. You're going to have to do real life things that happen beforehand. But we're also going into like a very version of an unknown. So it's like, we almost need to be prepared. So it's like, I've done an entire list of like, yes, there are some days I give myself like a don't care, watch Netflix all day, like turn off, like give yourself a Saturday or a Sunday where you're just like, no computer, no work. Like I still have a few little projects that I'm like following up on because there's just like little tweaks that still need to be done, but nothing that's like full content starting creation project stuff. But it's just like little things. Update your resume. My boyfriend's hanging out here having dinner while we're doing this, but like I had him come over early and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like wash my hair for the first time in 10 days and some like photos. And I was like, I need a press photo. Cause like the one I sent you was from 2 years ago. I was like, that was like before I donated my hair like the last time. And I was just like, oh my God, my hair's like so long. Doesn't even look like me.
I was like, oh my God, her hair's so long. It was like,
oh my God, that was like, hold on, I can't see because there's the stuff. It was like 30 inches in that picture. So every other September, I donate my hair to Wigs for Kids. And usually I cut it to like 15 inches long and it's still crazy long.
Long for me. This is long.
And they make wigs for kids and they don't have to pay for them. So they can be anything from cancer survivors to burn victims, any kid that needs a wig, and it takes 5 heads of hair to basically make one wig.
Wow.
So I've donated my hair like 7 times throughout my life. It's just anyways, but I was like, so like trying to do those little business things, whether it's, update this on your website, go through these emails and like, organize stuff where you just haven't had time to get on top of it. Update your contact list of, who knows who's going to be back at what venues? Who knows what venues are even going to open? Even just thinking about the different clients for other people in other industries outside of the entertainment industry, it's like, think about, think about any industry. There's always going to be somebody who hates their job and they're going to move up to a higher level entity, whether it's, just something higher on the totem pole. But whereas, all of a sudden their spot opens, and that's going to open up that spot for you to maybe apply for a new job. So it's like, if you can take those opportunities right now, whether that's updating a website, a LinkedIn, a resume, a headshot, give your kids a camera, maybe. I don't know, like find a neighbor from 6 feet away.
I tell people my self-timer and my tripod are my best friends. I was just commenting in like a women's entrepreneur Facebook group because she was like just sending all these selfies. Which one should I use for my media kit? I'm like, girl, just literally $15 on Amazon. Like there are ways, and then you just hire someone like you to make it, make it better and put
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, I made this whole long list 30 days ago, and I was like, okay, I've got to find things that are like as much of a, hi, Melissa. Like as much as I like creating art, like I want to always feel like there's purpose to my art. Like I refinish a lot of furniture, and I do a lot of like painting and like other stuff like that. But it's like, unless someone's commissioning me to do the painting, it's like, I would even just do the painting for free just to do it. Like, I don't need to make money off of it, but it's like, I want to have a purpose. Like, oh, this person's looking for this for their wall and it's this size, versus just like, cool, I made another one to put in my basement. Like, I don't know. That's just weird. Yeah. But I always want to like have creative content. And so even if it's my business that I have to create it for, it's all those little things of just the resume, the LinkedIn, the emails, I made a list of like, I brought my checklist of things that I've been working on lately. But some of the other things that you could do is like check in with your coworkers, check in with your bosses. Like, I think one of my friends was telling me, like, when somebody's like on furlough, I don't know these like fancy real job terms, but I think like you're not even allowed to talk to them, or you can get in trouble, because then it's like, if you ask them work related questions, but as long as like, check in with your other friends that are, laid off right now too. And like, you never know who you're going to connect with, and just, checking in on a friend that you haven't checked in on a while. Like, you never know when those connections will turn into something else. Like, I called one of my friends today, and I was just like, so I have this thing and I'm like super grumpy, and like, I want to just do like even volunteer work projects or something. Yeah. And by the end of the 15-minute conversation, like we had already like plotted 10 new projects. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited. And so fancy real job term.
Yes. Fellow entrepreneur there herself, Melissa.
What's a 401k and unemployment we can now apply for in Texas? No.
We'll worry about our retirement plan in the future.
What's that? Like the joke is always, like it's totally a Pinterest term, but like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Like, I don't ever want to retire. Like I love doing the jobs that I get to do and the people that I get to connect with. But like I said, just find different things to do every day. And some of it's business related, and don't feel like you have to rebuild your entire company in a week. Find those little things to just keep updating the things that you're passionate about. And you don't have to write a whole book, and just
wait, I just did though.
a whole book.
I just wrote an entire coffee cookbook.
I know. We're supposed to work on that.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, that's funny. Duh, I forgot that we talked about that. Yeah, I have it all done.
You need a photo shoot with your tripod.
I need to do a photo shoot for the pictures to get them to Ashley so she can make me the cover. But yeah, that's, I think we're all in this weird limbo period, and you and I have been doing, as tough as it is that our typical routine has been kind of disrupted or slowed down. Yeah. I think you're doing a great job at at navigating it all and at keeping your work brain busy and being productive, and also finding that balance and allowing yourself to watch Netflix when you need to. So if you want to connect with Ashley, ashlevans.com. It's right below me here. This is me, so I'm always
that's you.
And hopefully we will see each other in person. I know I was supposed to be out there in March and it didn't come through, but we will.
No, I know that one would have been so fun. We can't tell Internet Land what it was, but it was going to be so much fun. We're going to make it happen, though.
Yes, Melissa, it's been so helpful to remember we're all going through it together. It's a lot less lonely. Yeah. Amen. I think that's an awesome point to kind of wrap this up on, is we are all going through this together, and picking up the phone and checking in on each other when we need to, sending that text. Yeah. And,
even just calling your friends with kids, just give them the FaceTime for 5 minutes and let mom go have 5 minutes for herself.
You're not okay. I'm super grateful to be divorced at this point, just because they have 2 days a week with their dad where I can do these things. So, well, Ashley, thanks for hanging out with me.
Of course.
I can't wait to
Thanks for giving me a reason to wash my hair.
Dude, this whole thing, this show has really kept me on point with the self-care for sure. Right. So go ahead to ashlevans.com if you want to see more about Spotlight 615 or see her artists that she represents. So when
we book some shows, when this is back in real life, or if you need help with contracts or potential album artwork design. All the things.
And make sure if you're watching this over on Ashley's page that you like this page, Volume Up with Leslie Jespersen. We have new shows every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. And have a great night. I'll talk to you soon, everybody.
All right. Bye. Thanks for having me.